channel. My name is Ray, otherwise known as Disney Circus Girl, and welcome to the third episode of my DLP chat series, Disneyland Paris 30 Opening Day Attractions Spotlight. Today we're going to be looking at, I was going to do a drum roll, I did a drum roll, Ozzy didn't like the drum roll, but imagine a drum roll, Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean was an opening day attraction on the 12th of April 1992. It's located in Adventureland, like right at the back of the park, It's housed in like this fort, if you will. Like imagine the movies. There's the fort that is in that village that they're in. So yeah, it's housed in a fort that has clearly been attacked by pirates, and it is also just like Adventure Isle is just in front of it. So yeah, also Skull Rock, and Skull Rock is just outside of it, and there is a pirate galleon just outside of it. You really cannot miss this ride. If you're coming from Fantasyland, say you've just got off of Peter Pan's flight, turn right, just keep going because you're about 20 foot away from Pirates of the Caribbean. That's where in the park you'll find Pirates of the Caribbean. It's probably easier actually to get to it through Fantasyland than it is to get through Adventureland, I would say. Yeah, I would say probably easier to go through Fantasyland to get to it. But if you go through Fantasyland to get to it, you're going to miss Adventure Isle, and Adventure Isle is amazing. There's so much to do there. You guys need to check Adventure Isle out. It's brilliant. We're going to talk about the ride now. First off, where I want to start is an obvious one, the outside. Like I said, it looks as though it's in a fort that has been attacked by pirates. There is a big, like, as you enter, there's a big mast and a sail with Pirates of the Caribbean written on it. So the queue line is half outside, half inside. It's quite a windy queue line. I have personally never experienced this queue outside. I've seen it outside, but I've never experienced being in the queue outside. I've only ever been in this queue when it's said 25 minutes long, and it's really not been 25 minutes long. When it says 25 minutes long, it's more of a 10 to 15 minute long queue in reality. So obviously outside it's very bright. You're walking through the outside of the fort. When you hit inside, there's next to no graduality in this, but the light just vanishes. There's no light. It is near pitch dark in there. The best way I find to see in there is if you've got low light capability on your phone. Use it. I'm loving low light because now we can see where we're going. So yeah, that was my footage, and then this is Jodie's footage. So they're from the same, that's from the same trip. That's from your, see, I'm saying the same thing, but Jodie's phone does not have low light capability, whereas mine does. So mine, it looked very bright, it looked very, whereas Jodie's, you can clearly see it's dark. And even so, it looks, on the phone, it looks brighter than it is. So just be aware that it's going to get very dark very quickly. Inside, it's also very warm. This is supposed to be Pirates of the Caribbean, so you are supposed to be in the Caribbean at night. So this is going to be, it's really warm in there. If you're there in the winter and it's freezing and you just want to get out of the cold for a bit, go into Pirates of the Caribbean, although you will be freezing when you get back out. when I last went, there was one day where for a little while all I did was go around and around and around because I needed to get warmed up. Yeah, it was a stupid idea because I was freezing when I got out. But it was a good idea at the time. Anyway, so queue line, you'll go past prisons, you'll go past all sorts, dungeons, all sorts. You'll go past like a lagoon. You briefly see a lagoon, I think. Yeah, you see a lot of props in there. When you get to, like, you'll cross a bridge. You cross a bridge over where the boats are. And you'll see that there is two. When you get to the front of the queue near enough, you'll see that it branches off into two queues, and you have two turnstiles. So you have the right turnstile and you have the left turnstile. Make sure all your group goes through the same turnstile, or you will be on different boats. I have seen so many people make the mistake of thinking that they can go in any which way because of attractions like Phantom Manor and Small World, where you can pretty much just use any turnstile and you all end up at the same place. But in Pirates of the Caribbean, you do not end up in the same place. The right turnstile is to the front dock, the left turnstile is to the rear dock. So make sure you all stay together, especially now that they've got the perspex screens up. Just make sure you stay together. So 2 boats are loaded at a time, the front dock, the rear dock. So the front boat is loaded at the same time as the rear boat. Both boats are also released at the same time. However, the rear boat will be stopped just off of the conveyor while the front boat goes. And then when it's safe to release the second boat, they release the second boat. You are going to meet up with the boat again, ready to go up the first lift hill, but hey ho. So the ride starts off, like I said, you're released from the dock. The first thing you go past, it's very quiet, very peaceful. You hear like banjo playing. To your right, you've got like a hut, I suppose you could call it, a hut or a village house. I don't know what you could call it, but yeah, it's there. And then to your left is Captain Jack's restaurant, where yes, you will pass people that are having their dinner or their lunch. It's a pricey restaurant, and people pay premium to go and eat there. I don't like the menu, so I don't go in there. I used to like it when the menu was Blue Lagoon, because it used to be called the Blue Lagoon restaurant. Jack Sparrow has now appeared in this restaurant. He's not, it's not official character dining, but he has appeared in it. So yeah, you pass there. This is by far the quietest section of the ride. From here, it just gets very, like, I'm not going to say very loud very quickly, because it gets progressively louder. It sort of gets louder as you go through the ride, really. So after passing Captain Jack's, you pass a shipwreck. You will see like an octopus with a Jolly Roger flag. The octopus is moving. You'll also pass 3 cats that are stranded on crates, sort of going around. Don't worry, they're not real cats. They're just animatronics that are stranded on boxes that are floating around in the water. This is the part of the ride where you reach the lift. So obviously, if you were on the rear dock, you'll meet up with the boat that was on the front dock again, and then you have to wait while that front boat gets halfway up the lift, and then the lift will start lifting you up. So there will be 2 boats on the lift at the same time, but they're far enough apart. As you're going up this lift, it's made to look like a cargo sort of lift. So you see ropes and chains running down beside you, and they're moving as if they're what's hauling you up the lift. Also, as you're going up the lift, there is the mist screen, I guess you could call it, the misty thingy, where you'll either see Blackbeard or you'll see Davy Jones. You'll hear something along the lines of "Dead men tell no tales," and either Davy Jones or Blackbeard will say something along the lines of "I, but they do," says I, Blackbeard, or "I, but they do," says I, Davy Jones, or if ye be daring or foolish enough to face a pirate's curse, I can't remember what. Yeah, but yeah, they say something like that. I know that one of them is the "I, but they do," says I. And the other one is, "If ye be daring or foolish enough to face a pirate's curse." I can't remember what comes after that. I can't remember the line that comes after that, but yeah, it's there. It's touch and go whether you get English or French, because this part is in both English and French. Sometimes the character will speak English, sometimes the character will speak French. You just don't know. So once you're up there, I mean, from this point you can clearly hear gunfire and cannons and shouting, and yeah, you can see the fire, you can smell it. You go around and you can see off to your left, you can see a pirate ship with a captain on, that's attacking the town, and above your head there's a pirate that comes swinging. Then from here it takes you through. This is where you'll go to the infamous dungeon scene where the pirates are trying to coax the dog into giving them the key. Again, language here. Language is primarily French. One of the pirates does speak English, but it is mostly French dialogue here. And then after this part is the first of the drops. So this is the biggest drop. So this is the drop where instantly at the bottom you're into the action. You're in the thick of the action. You land pretty much where you saw that boat that was firing the cannons, the pirate ship that was attacking the town. That's the first thing you see. And once you're past that, you're into the town, the village, whatever you'd like to call it, which has got all of the classic scenes from Pirates of the Caribbean. Carlos in the well, the auction. The auction I have to talk about in a second, actually. I have to mention the majority of the language in this, the majority of the dialogue is in French. I have heard the odd line of Spanish and I have heard the odd line of English, but the majority of the spoken dialogue on this ride is French. So going through here, these are all the classic scenes really from Pirates of the Caribbean, from the original Disneyland version. It's very much like, it's very reminiscent of that. They've kept it as original as they possibly can. So one thing I do have to say is the redhead scene. Of course, we all know the redhead scene got changed a couple of years back now. A few years back now, actually, it got changed. 2018, I think it was changed. I could be wrong. I think it was 2018, so 4 years ago it got changed. Disneyland Paris's Pirate Red is different to Walt Disney World and Disneyland. She was the first of the new Pirate Reds to be revealed. She is very similar to the original Redhead. She looks very much similar, only she's dressed a little tiny bit differently. She's holding a gun, she's got armour on. She doesn't speak. Her eyes are very realistic. They shift and they roll. So yeah, she doesn't speak, but she's holding a gun, she's got her armour on, and you can tell she's a tough girl. And again, as with the change at Disneyland and Disney World, it's a treasure auction. They're auctioning off the treasure, but the pirates across the way, they want the rum. But Red doesn't speak in our version. This is actually, if you go and look back at the early concept art of what Red was going to look like, Disneyland Paris's version is that version. What came later at Disneyland and Disney World differed loads. But yeah, so we got that version. And then after that, you carry on through the town, by which point they're now singing. And when they sing Yo Ho Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me, this is sung in English, so you won't have a problem understanding this. Of course, you have the donkey that's singing. You have all the classic pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean. They're there. They are there. You will also see, I don't know if this is before the singing or just after the singing, but there is Jack Sparrow hiding in a barrel. One pirate saying they're looking for Jack Sparrow. And my favourite pirate, who I can't remember if he's in the Disney World version anymore. I don't know if he's in Disneyland because I've never been to Disneyland. But in Disneyland Paris, he's there, and it's the dude that's balancing the hats and the treasure, and he's trying to get on the boat. Just so happened to be Walt's favourite pirate as well, and he's my favourite pirate, and we still have him. So thank you so much, Disneyland Paris, for not getting rid of him, because I adore him. He's so brilliant. And we also have a duel. So this duel, it happens on your left. It's two pirates. One, well, I don't know if it's two pirates or not, because one looks suspiciously like Will Turner when he was a blacksmith. And it used to, like years and years ago, these two used to look like I said, Will Turner, and the other one looked like, surprisingly, a little bit like Jack Sparrow. Only a little bit, but it was there. You could see that it looked like Jack Sparrow, but it wasn't, because the ride hadn't been changed to the film at that point. But it did look like Jack Sparrow. Yeah, now the duel is between the dude that looks like Will Turner and a female pirate. But it is there, the duel is there. Sometimes the duel isn't working. If the duel isn't working, there's just like a bamboo sort of shield there blocking it off. But it's quite a cool little scene. Like I said, from this point on, it is really into the singing, into the Yo Ho Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me. You go through that bit, you see the pirate on the pigs, like sleeping with the pigs. You see all of them singing, all of them getting drunk, yada yada yada. All of a sudden there's a big explosion and you're down the next drop. This drop is not as big, but there's a lot of flashing lights, and this is where the ride photo is taken. So once you're down the bottom of this drop, you enter a cave, a cavern, which is intended to be that same cavern from The Curse of the Black Pearl. You know, where all of the gold is, where Barbossa takes Elizabeth to do the ritual, to break the curse. It's that cave. The first thing we see is an amazing Barbossa animatronic. So we see Barbossa, all of a sudden there's a flash of lightning, the moon shines, and he is in zombie mode. And you see that change happen before your very eyes, and it's such a cool effect. And then from there on, you carry on through the cave. There is an amazing like skull face in the cave actually that I like, but you carry on through the cave, and you see Jack Sparrow sat on all the treasure. He's having a drink, he's got a parrot, he's singing Yo Ho Yo Ho, Pirate's Life for Me, and he's talking to himself and to the parrot. He talks in both French and English. I've not captured him on camera speaking in English, but I've heard him as I've gone to get off the boat, and I'm like, why can't I be like 2 boats behind? This is also the part of the ride where I mentioned the Disneyland Railroad road passes it. So yeah, this is the part of the ride that you see. So once you're through here, this is often where a boat jam will happen. By boat jam, it's like a traffic jam. It's a big owie. I say big owie because this is obviously where the onload offload docks are. And I have been on this ride when there has been a backup of 8 or more boats. Of course, as each boat comes and does that to the one in front of it, it's you do end up with a boat jam sometimes that has to be freed. So yeah, have experienced that. Just put up with it, it's not going to last forever. When you're coming up to the docks, Pirates of the Caribbean around the world has an infamous talking skull. When you're coming up to the docks at Disneyland Paris, ready to get off the ride, this is where you see that talking skull, and he's giving you safety instructions. remain seated if you know what's good for you. He's giving you those instructions in English and French, and please do remain seated. So after this part, where you'll end up on the dock, and of course you exit the boat to your left and you exit through the gift shop. So yes, we have a gift shop. It's quite a small gift shop, not the smallest of gift shops, but it is quite small, but it's got plenty in it, and you get your ride photo there. Right, so I have to go into the bad. There has been one notable incident on this ride. It happened on October the 30th, 2013. A 5-year-old boy tried to get off the ride before the boat arrived at the dock. He lost his footing, and unfortunately he did fall out of the boat and he got trapped in the conveyor mechanism of the ride. He survived. He was in a critical condition, but he survived. It's unknown what condition he's in today, but he did survive. But that remains the only incident that this ride has ever had. And bless his soul. I mean, he was only 5 years old. He's the same age as Jay. Because Jay was 5 in 2013, so exactly the same age as Jay. But sympathy for the 5-year-old. However, there are plenty of warnings not to get up. There are plenty of warnings to stay in your seat, and it's common sense to stay in your seat until the ride has stopped. And the boy's parents were encouraging him to get off before the ride had stopped. So yeah, but it happened, it's over, and it hasn't happened since. It was just one of those unfortunate guest negligent incidents that have happened at every Disney park around the world, because let's face it, they have. So that's Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's watch the ride, shall we?
Go too far, because they can't let the people on the boat on. They've got to leave a bit of yeah, like that's
David Jones. Attire-le vers le nœud coulant. Tiens-le maintenant. Plus haut. Plus haut, je te dis.
Où est le trésor? Et maintenant, votre fripouille.
Je vous en ai 6. Qui en fera 6?
6 bouteilles de rhum.
Gardez votre rhum, les gars.
Capitaine Jack Sparrow, quand il saura que je suis le seul à avoir mis la main sur le pactole. Bouge pas, je te dis ma carte.
en récompense d'une vie de vilainie, de piraterie, de fripouillerie et de tout ce qui finit en rire.
Regarde, mais on est jaloux. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Je porte un toast à un de mes nombreux camarades perdus en mer. Santé, mes amis.
Regarde, mais on est jaloux. Wrestle to scoundrels, villains and knights.
Okay, so that's it for Pirates of the Caribbean. Join me next time for the next opening day attraction spotlight, where we shall be looking at one of the most magical rides at Disneyland, Peter Pan's Flight. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.